Hey guys, what is up? Me and Kaidale are at the park. He is right there, climbing and being silly and happy and doing his thing. I went to my good friend Jacquelyn's house the other day, and she's actually like kind of family. Her and John grew up together, and they consider each other like siblings pretty much. She's really close with John's parents. They're like grandparents for her kids. Anyway, so she does my lashes. A lot of you guys ask, you know, where do I get my lashes done, what that process is like, and it's just a funny story because I go to her home. She does it out of her home, but that is not the point of the story. The point of the story is that she is a special needs mom. She's a really, really sweet son named Levi, who's 8 years old, so he's really close in age with Kaidale. And me and her just always talk and connect on a level of, you know, being special needs moms. And I thought it would be fun to do like a sit down, just like a casual Q&A interview and kind of share her story. So please be kind and enjoy. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the channel today. So a lot of y'all comment on my eyelashes and you ask where I go to get my eyelashes. So I actually go to my girlfriend Jacquelyn.
Hi.
And she's kind of like John's sister. You guys know John. But I wanted to do like a little quick Q&A with her today to talk about her life as a special needs mom. This is her sweet, sweet boy Levi. He's just the cutest thing ever. And Levi is diagnosed with a genetic disorder. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this. So just tell me the specifics a little bit about Levi and his.
Levi's official diagnosis is called IHPRF syndrome. He is about one of maybe 10 in the world diagnosed with this condition.
Hey, Baba.
But
Hi.
as far as the symptoms go, he is nonverbal, low muscle tone. He has a pretty severe seizure disorder, non-ambulatory. I probably could keep going on, but I'll leave it. Oh, severe central apnea. That's a big one. But overall, he's really happy. He loves giving kisses. He's 8. He's about to be 8 in a couple weeks. So we've been at this for a while now, but he's definitely changed our life for the better. Yeah, and he's in school. He goes to, he's in like an all-inclusive ESC class. I have. You want to get in?
You can come sit in.
Come here.
This is his sister Cheyenne, and Cheyenne is, how old is Cheyenne?
She is, how old are you?
4.
4.
And then I'm pregnant now with our third, 24 weeks. And then as far as Levi's actual syndrome, it is something that me and his father carry. So our odds with our biological children are anytime I'm pregnant, our children have a 25% chance of having the syndrome, the IHPRF syndrome. So we kind of, we're firm believers in God's plan, and we don't know anything about this baby. We don't even know boy or girl. So we're just kind of winging it and see what happens, and whatever's meant to be is gonna be.
But Levi wasn't diagnosed until he was how old?
He was, with his official diagnosis, he was 4. He had just turned 4.
And that was something that you didn't even know, you had no idea. I mean, I think one of the most interesting things about Jacquelyn and Levi and the whole family story is the process of getting him diagnosed. Because it wasn't, you had to go to several different specialists, and it's such a rare genetic disorder that you didn't know what it was for the longest time, right? I mean, you had already had Cheyenne, right?
4. Yeah, we had already had Cheyenne. Obviously, we had been dealing with a lot of his symptoms since birth, so we knew something was off, but we didn't have a name for it. Basically, for 4 years, he was undiagnosed. And everything would come back normal and perfect, and MRIs looked great. We did whole exome sequencing, or I'm sorry, we did the microarray, which came back normal, and then his whole exome, which is very hard to get covered by insurance, which is why it took us 4 years, but through the grace of God, we got it covered, and that's how we got our diagnosis. And then we were prepared, I think, to have a name for it, but then when it came down to hearing that it was something that me and my husband carried and kind of gave to him in a sense was honestly the hardest part of the appointment.
Really?
So yeah, to hear that, you know, it wasn't just a random thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then especially when you're wanting to grow your family and then all of a sudden this 25% chance, that's a lot, you know, in theory. But, you know, Levi was 4, he's almost 8 now. We've had 4 years of coming to terms with all that.
And I talk about that a lot in the vlog about going through the grieving process. And one thing that I love about Jacquelyn is that even though our kids are very different, we share a lot of the same mutual understanding of like what it's like to be a special needs parent. Going through that grieving process, I mean, I had a pretty strong feeling that kiddo was autistic before I heard the doctor tell me that, but to hear it is like, just, I don't know.
It's like you want to hear it, but you don't.
Yeah, like,
at the same time.
It's just like, you have this like false hope of like, well, maybe it's nothing, or like, I know it's not, but, and then you go through the whole grieving process of, you know, being upset and being like angry, like why me, why my kid, and then eventually you come to terms with it. And I mean, like you said, you've had 4 years and you're such a good mom. Like, my hat's off to Jacquelyn, because when we talk, and I think Kaidale has, you know, a lot going on with just like fighting insurance and fighting, you know, you have to like advocate so much when you're a special needs parent. It's insane how much you have to advocate. And just like Jacquelyn is so much, like she has so many more obstacles, I feel like, to advocate for
and I feel like you have more than I do.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I mean, Kaidale's like, he has his therapy and like his, you know, pharmacy stuff. We have to like, you know, fight the pharmacists for stupid things that we shouldn't have to, like med refill. It's always something.
Yeah.
But
it's always something.
Yeah, it's always something, and it's always going to be something.
I feel like you get kind of used to it. It's those first, it's almost those first, I feel like 2 years, 3 years maybe, or like our formative years as special needs parents. And then all of a sudden you just hit this, like, I got this.
Yeah.
It gets better in a way. You just kind of, you all of a sudden know all these insurance terms you never would have thought you would have ever known.
You're like, oh, I'm a professional, and like all this medical terminology that you learn.
You, like you said, you know how to advocate for your kids, and you just, I mean, it doesn't make it any, in theory, any easy. I feel like
I think you build up like an endurance.
Yeah.
To having to fight and having to advocate, and you just build up this like endurance of like, you don't give up. You know, especially everything you're going through right now with his insurance and stuff. It's like, I probably would have felt like discouraged then.
I feel like
I commend you for like not ever giving up. Like, you just,
we have our good days, we have our bad days, we have our good months, we have our bad months. I always say that I'm never ungrateful for the good months, because I just know some bad months are around the corner.
That's true.
I think especially with Levi, we're kind of, you know, what he looked like 3 years ago like doesn't even compare to what he looks like today. There's so many up and downs. We're constantly kind of reestablishing our new normal. You know, like with Kaidale and, you know, different habits he picks up, you know, you're constantly readjusting to like what he likes to do, or, you know, how to address different things. And I just feel like you get so used to that, like, you know, every day looks a little different than last day, or these 2 weeks have looked great, and then all of a sudden the world's turned on its head. But you just get used to it. Like, you just get this.
You roll with it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And then you rely on like your circle of people. Like, Jacquelyn has a big circle with, you know, like family and friends and good doctors and social workers and things like that. So you kind of just rely on those people to help you get through the tough parts. But what would you say is like the most rewarding part about being Levi's mom? And Cheyenne, just being a mom in general.
I feel like I look back, a pivotal moment I feel like for me is Levi's birth. it wasn't the most dramatic birth, but it wasn't the easiest birth, as in he came out kind of not breathing. Everyone panicked.
Yeah.
We avoided the NICU, but something was just not right off the bat. Feeding was hard. But anyways, I look back to that specific moment of who I was just 24 hours prior to his delivery to the 24 hours after. And I'm not saying everything immediately changed all at once, but it just, as becoming a mom, it just, especially a mom of a child with a disability or special needs, it just opened up this whole other world. You know, my husband's aunt has Prader-Willi's, which is very similar to Down syndrome. She was, you know, really the only one I'd been around with a disability, you know. I was around very few people with disabilities. And then here comes Levi in my world, and then this is my son. And then all of a sudden I'm in this world where I'm just drawn to people with disabilities. Yeah. Like, I want to make connections with them. I want to, you know, learn how to interact with them better.
You can come sit down.
Or, you know, understand what their parents are going through and how to help and understand. And I would say the most rewarding thing out of having, obviously, Levi as my son is he's opened up this whole other world that I don't think you see as a parent when you have a typical child. I'm
100%.
Blessed to be in both worlds now. Cheyenne, I feel like, gave us this whole other addition of life that it was hard to be just a special needs mom.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect, kind of.
Like a relatability. Like, it's hard to relate to parents that, hi.
I just feel like he's given us this, like, special VIP ticket to this whole other world that, like, we never would have been able to experience before. And it's she's touching the camera.
Making sure we're in shot.
It's something that I'm very glad we're a part of. It has its hard days and stuff and hard moments, but it's given me so.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties. What I was saying was, I just feel like it's given us this world of connections we never would have had without Levi.
Yeah, I agree.
Or even just an understanding of some of the trials, you know, that parents go through, or, you know, we're in this for the long haul. Like, me and my husband are going to be 90 still caring for him. So we look to older individuals too, and what their life looks like and how they best provide for their kids. And but just between his teachers, his therapists, you know, we were just talking about this, they become like our best friends and family, and all these relationships that we never would have had if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, aside for him as our child being rewarding in itself, you know, he's given us this extra outlook on life that we don't take for granted.
Yeah. And I think the special needs community is just, like, so amazing, and you don't realize how amazing it is until you're in it. And you have all this help from, like, complete strangers, like teachers and therapists, and then you just grow these bonds with them, and it's like, wow, like, I can't imagine life without them now, sort of a thing. But yeah, I completely agree. But I think another thing too that's really important in special needs communities is it's easy for people to be like, well, my kid does this, and, you know, it almost becomes like, not a tit for tat, but I think it's easy for people to be like, oh, well, you're lucky because my kid does this and you don't have to worry about that. But, like, one thing that I really love about hanging out with Jacquelyn is it's never like that. Like, it's never like a competition. Yeah, it's just like different just disabilities, but
things you learn, like going through the age when Levi didn't necessarily look disabled, but was a cute baby, and I would get all the, well, is he walking yet? Is he crawling yet? And everyone means it with their best, you know, intentions, but at the same time, like, I would go home and cry about it because I knew in reality that, you know, that might not ever happen, or, you know, you become very careful with your words, or, you know, with any children I've learned, like, I don't ask when they're walking. Like, I want to know what's their favorite toy. What kind of music do they like right now? You know, it gives you this kind of different approach to life. Yeah,
that's actually a really good point. I never really thought about that, but that is a really good point.
Like with Kato, maybe like them, is he talking it? Yeah. Or you know, things that people don't mean with bad intentions. It just, you don't know how someone interprets that at the end of the day. And you know, even with kids. Cheyenne, please don't touch the camera. Okay. You know, you don't know, especially with people who have disabilities that don't right off the bat know that they have a disability. You don't know what actually could be offensive in a way. You have to be very careful with your words, and I think just having that awareness of trying to, you know, not offend anyone at the end of the day.
Or like think before you say something. Yeah, I get a lot of, you know, people thinking that Kaidale is just misbehaving or being bad, and that really hurts my feelings because it's like you have no idea how much time and effort we put into behavioral therapy and, you know, all this stuff on the back end, and then
like you don't want to wave that flag like he has autism, that's why he's doing that. But at the same time, you kind of feel like you have to. Like, yes, baby. You know, to protect him. But, you know, just having this, I think this is great what you're doing, this awareness you're bringing. Kind of, you know, people might run into Kaidale somewhere someday, and then they know how to, you know, interact with him a little better. And
well, that's funny that you say that. Actually, I was going to ask you, I just did recently a video about, we just had a rough day in Walmart, and I left feeling like really frustrated and really defeated, and I got a lot of comments of people asking me, well, like, what would be an appropriate way, like, to try to help in a situation where Kaidale's like having a meltdown, or just having a really, like, we're struggling, like, how would a stranger
intervene or could offer,
or should they?
Instead of just looking? I understand that.
And because it wasn't so much something somebody did. For me, it was Kaidale's so hyperactive, and he was just like, I think a little bit overstimulated, and people, it just felt like we're kind of oblivious that day, like in their own little world, taking their own little time. And I just kind of wanted to be like, can you move? Like, can you move out of our, like, clear the space, like, let us get by. Oh, is that Girl Scout cookies?
Oreos. Yes, I'll say yes.
But like for Levi, if you guys are like struggling in public, is there a way for people to be helpful or
not? It brings up a moment that he used to do horseback riding therapy. And I don't know this mom, I don't know anyone, but we've talked about it, his diaper changes are horrible. He panics when he's on his back with diaper changes, and at 55 pounds, that's a lot to handle, especially alone. And I remember he had a poopy diaper. I had to change the diaper. He didn't fit. Once they get a certain size, they don't fit on changing tables. You have to go on the ground. I had a blanket laid down, and he started panicking on the ground, and it's only so much I can do as to hold him down and get his diaper changed and just get on with it.
If you had 2 extra arms, it'd be great. But
and usually, like 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, I get through it and we're both fine and it's okay. But in that particular moment, I was panicked, he was panicked. We're just trying to get through it, and not cause a big scene. But I did have a mom come over and in the middle of the chaos just say, "What can I do?"
Oh,
that's all she said. I didn't necessarily need her help, but in a way,
offering.
But the fact that she walked over and just said, "What can I do?" left me the opportunity to say, "Yes, I need you to hold him here," or just anything else she could have done.
For you,
maybe I left the diaper in the car like a mom, like just her walking over and just leaving it as the what can I do, that open-ended question, kind of left it up to me to just tell her what I needed. Or I feel like I'm a scene when we go in Walmart. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I've got him in a wheelchair. Usually I put her in a cart. So I've got a wheelchair, a cart, and now a pregnant belly. And I feel like I just get looks 24/7.
Yes.
And, you know, like when she was younger, she might have been having a moment, and or people see him and may just, the ones that comment, you know, oh, he's so sweet, what's his name, something that, you know, instead of just the look.
Yeah.
Kind of, or the moments, what I was going for was more the moments that the few times I've heard just randomly, you're doing a good job. And like they go about their day.
Yeah.
And like it kind of just
makes
like,
such a big difference.
oh,
It
we
really
can
does.
go through Walmart now.
Yeah.
You know, or we can, it just gives you this like,
Well,
peace or
sometimes
something.
I don't think people realize they're staring sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but just like you said, I think it's more of an awareness rather than it just like a right or wrong way to approach.
Right.
You know, just like that is so sweet. Just an awareness of like you're doing good, or you know, he's a
Like if you
sweet
see
kid or something.
Whether it's a kid having a meltdown or a kid mad that they couldn't get a toy, you know, especially if the mom looks overwhelmed, I think just that little bit of what can I do, or you're doing a great job goes so far in all aspects of like parenthood, whether you have a child with a disability or, you know, I think with Kaidale and Walmart, like if one person just would have been like, what can I do? And you could have been like, I just need to get out. And like if they could have like led the way, and you know, if you have his hand and they could have take charge and like cleared the path to get out of Walmart kind of thing, like that would have been all you needed.
Exactly.
You know?
That's so true.
And as far as I remember years ago making a Facebook post about the like the staring kind of thing, and I understand it in a way because we do stare at differences, things that
it's intriguing.
Things that we're not accustomed to, or something in our lifestyle that we're not used to seeing, that like it catches our eye. Like it's not, staring's like just a natural kind of response, but I added, because I feel like I get that a lot, and I know people don't have bad intentions with it sometimes, but if they add like a smile, I always try to like, if my gaze is going through Walmart and someone catches my eye, I at least try to smile like immediately, like, because I feel like that
absolutely
I was gonna say RBF kind of thing. Like I don't want them to, you know, I know what goes through my mind if I see
are you
someone
judging me, or are you like,
but if someone instantly gives me like a smile behind it, then like
it's better.
The interpretation goes over better.
But
too.
the excessive staring can sometimes it's rude, you know, to do that.
That was my other thing with that post I had made. It was about our kids. Our kids look at how we handle situations, and I think, you know, exposure, kids being exposed to kids with other disabilities, or Levi's wheelchair is like a huge topic. Like, you know, to kids, like, why is he in that? What does he need that for? Why can't he walk?
Is he okay?
But you know, they're kids. I understand. They're, you know. But at the same time, if they see the parent like staring someone down, like, then that's kind of like going to translate to they're going to start doing it. Or not have but if you gave someone a smile or approached them and asked them a random question or just made some nice comment, like they see that. And then these kids turn into adults who stare. So
absolutely.
Would you rather someone stare at you like RBF or stare at you with a smile?
Cheyenne, do you want to be in the vlog?
What are you gonna say?
Why not? Here, let me make sure you're
Turn my phone off for a second. You're actually on a vlog right now. She is obsessed with A for Adley.
You'll be able to watch it on YouTube.
You want to watch yourself on YouTube?
How has having Cheyenne in your life made a difference for Levi? Do you think that it's made a difference for him as like being an older brother?
Their they have a great relationship. As far as Levi, I feel like it's complicated. Like, I know he knows she's around a lot, and maybe that this is his sister. He kind of only lets like me in his bubble.
Really?
So even Cheyenne, like, he's very like, get out of my bubble. But he does tolerate her, I feel like, a little bit more than normal. Cheyenne though, You know, with Levi, I almost feel like we've benefited more from having him than he's benefited from us in a way. And I feel like that's kind of the same for Cheyenne. Like, I feel like she's benefited so much more from having Levi as a brother than the other way around. Like, he doesn't really understand how much he's actually given to us as like a family. I think I'm definitely excited to see their relationship grow, especially since she's only 4. As they get older, you know, I think, but she understands so much more than the average 4-year-old. Like, she can literally do a G-tube feeding on him. I mean, with some supervision, but yes, she knows.
That's amazing.
She grabs her dolls and picks them up and said, "Oh, they're awake, but they had a lot of seizures last night, so I need to do this." And so she,
take care
you know,
of them.
things like your typical I'm excited to see what she does in this life. Like, if it
special needs siblings are some of like the most amazing people in the world. Like, they just are usually so sensitive and like in tune with other people's needs and feelings, and they're just like some of the most amazing people I feel like I've met.
She at 4 years old takes great care of him, so you know, picking up his toys or bringing him his toys, or, you know, bringing him a blanket or whatever he needs. I think, you know, as it's hard when your child can have limited interactions with another. So you kind of have to take the relationship like for what you see in a way. And I think it speaks a lot on her part of how caring she is towards him, that they have this
a bond,
like
bond.
They have you make me nervous with the camera.
It's fine.
Like that unspoken, you know, that like unfailing love kind of thing. Like, she knows true love in a way. He's never spoken a word to her, and she knows he loves, you know, he loves her. And same thing, you know, for him. But I'm excited, you know, like I said, she's 4. I'm excited to see as they grow, and you know, especially other older families I've seen that have, you know, the child with a disability maybe in their 20s, and then the siblings are, you know, now in their 20s too, and how they take care of each other, and or just that bond they have, you know, like, and you know, the friends he has in school, unfortunately they're gonna like come and go through the years and stuff, but you know, family and the ones that really understand him will always be there. So
his little bubble.
I think there's, you know, like, to moms of undiagnosed kids, you know, don't stop fighting for your kids. Even if, one thing that kind of led me on in our search was that I knew God was ahead of science. You know, God made Levi, God made him in his image, and he's perfect. But he knew what Levi's diagnosis was going to be before we did, and that we didn't have access to the science. Essentially, Levi's syndrome wasn't even discovered until 2013, and Levi was born in 2012. So had we even had access to that testing in 2012, they still wouldn't have known what it was. But, you know, like we said, we lived 4 years without having a name for it, but there was a very good possibility that even doing that testing, that we still could have come out of it with nothing.
Not knowing.
And kind of, you know, at the end of the day, you know your child best. I mean, there's a lot of even just simple situations. You know something's wrong, but you get these looks from doctors like, everything's fine. I don't know, this testing looks great. Like, whether it be blood work or MRIs or just a simple illness, or they won't stop throwing up or something. You just know your kid the best. You know, advocate for them. I think you find those doctors you really connect with and that seem to put your child first. my husband's very good on being the one to question the doctors and saying,
Really? Is he
Yeah,
is he
he
like
is
the hard
definitely-
one? Like the
I'm kind of more of like, this is what they said, this is what we need to do, follow it by the book. I mean, I definitely will advocate for my son if I don't feel like that's correct,
Right.
but he's more the one.
But it's nice having him there to kind of be
Yeah.
like, can you be the mean guy?
Yeah, he's kind of more of the tipping scale of being like, well, why do we need to do that? Are we sure that's the best approach?
Yeah.
Are we sure this is the best medication? Can we do something else before we do that? You know, so having that good kind of fight balance for us works good. I know in other situations, you know, but at least just, you know, at the end of the day, it's your kid. You're the one that has to take care of this child for 24/7. You know, that doctor isn't living in your home with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they go home at the end of the day.
Yeah, and go back to their life and whatever, but they're not the one sitting up at 3 a.m. trying to fix whatever the issue is. So I think, you know, keep fighting.